what pain and shame do in our life and how they can drive us either towards or away from Jesus. The first thing that I want you to write down is this: our pain often is the driving force that leads us to Jesus. Now, we don't know the name of this woman. Some non-biblical literature has referred to her as Veronica, but we don't know if that was her name. What we do know about this woman is that she was a woman that was in pain. She had multiple things happening in her life. She was more than likely lonely, isolated, impoverished, quite likely anemic, and possibly, some scholars believe, on maybe even dying. In other words, close to death. Why do we know this, and what was her condition? Well, she was in physical pain, it tells us. She had had bleeding for 12 years. 12 years is a long time. Internal hemorrhaging that would not stop. She had been bleeding 4,380 days. Now, we don't know exactly how severe this anemia was, but it was severe enough. This bleeding was severe enough that it had caused her to seek doctors and gone everywhere she could to try to find healing for this debilitating disease. And if you've ever struggled with any kind of hemorrhaging, you know that it will quickly lead to anemia. And when you're anemic, you can barely get out of bed, you can barely function, you can barely work because you are just drained of the life-giving substance, which is our blood. Secondly, we know that she was financially depleted. She had spent all that she had, the Bible tells us, in trying to solve this problem in her life, trying to deal with the issue of pain. She had gone to one doctor after another. Oh, some of you have been there. You tried this doctor. Do you have a solution? Oh, try this. Oh, this medication, it doesn't work. She had gone to another doctor. It seemed expensive, but anything that could solve her problem, she felt would be worth it. And so she spent money on this doctor and another one. Her hopes had gone up on another one until she found herself economically absolutely bankrupt and depleted. She was socially alienated. You see, in the Jewish culture, if you had any kind of bleeding or hemorrhaging, you would be deemed ceremonially unclean, which meant that when you were unclean, it meant that anybody that touched you would also be unclean. It meant anything that you sat on would be unclean. If she sat on a couch, it would be unclean. If she sat on a bed, it would be unclean. If she touched someone, they would be unclean. And so they would have to go through a ceremonial washing and cleansing to be clean. So that meant that, I don't know if she had kids or if she had a husband, if she had relatives, that meant that when she ran into a friend or a relative, they would say, hi, how? Oh, yeah, I can't touch you because you're unclean. It also meant that she was spiritually isolated because if you were ceremonially unclean, you would not be allowed to enter into the synagogue or go for worship with other people because you were unclean. Physically hurting, spiritually isolated, financially depleted, and you can only imagine that she was emotionally exhausted. 12 years, an ongoing problem that she couldn't solve. Lonely, isolated, depleted, alienated, and full of shame. Anybody around her that she touched would be unclean. A stigma about her. You know, pain drives us. I grew up around horses, and when I was only 4 years old, my father put me on the first horse. And what you learn about horses is that they'll move faster if you kind of just kick them slightly right here under their ribs because it's more of a painful area. And pain causes us to move quicker. I believe that pain causes us to move quicker away from God or towards God. There are some people here in this auditorium that, well, you have pain. There are people here that have been sexually or emotionally abused, and it's painful. And maybe it's shrouded in shame. There are people here that you have been through experiences in life. Maybe it was a very difficult, nasty divorce that's left you just depleted, just broken. You're ashamed of that chapter in your life. Maybe there's a battle of addiction that has caused you to just compulsively have to go down that road of addiction. Maybe you have a prison term in your background that has been symbolizing of a dark chapter in your life. Maybe there's been bankruptcy in your life that it really is a chapter that you'd rather not talk about. Maybe you've made decisions in your life that you look back right now and just say, I hope no one finds out about those decisions, because not only is there pain, but there's also shame associated with it. In fact, some of you are in this auditorium right now, you don't look like it because you don't wear it on your face. You don't carry a sign that says, this is my pain. You camouflage it. You cover it up. You've learned over the years to work around it, to talk around it, to sort of black it out of your chapter in life so that you can use words that sort of deflect people. But inside, yeah, it's a lonely place. It's a place of hurt. It's a place of shame. It's a place that drives you. And anytime there's pain, we are driven towards relief. And in our relief, sometimes we overeat, we overindulge. Some of us have tried to camouflage that pain or deal with that pain by, you have gone down the road of workaholism to try to forget about the pain. Some of you have tried to drink the pain away. Some of you have tried to smoke the pain away. Some of you have tried to sex the pain away. Some of you have tried to achieve the pain away. Some of you have tried to just have fun the pain away. You've tried a lot of ways to get away from that pain, but you know it's still there.